I haven't been formally introduced.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the DC Studios superhero film Supergirl. The film is directed by Craig Gillespie and it stars Millie Alcock, David Cornsweet, Eve Ridley, Matthias Schoenaerts, Diarmaid Murtaugh, Ferdinand Kingsley and Emily Pigford. Right, okay. Millie Alcock plays Supergirl in this film. She is, at the beginning of the film, pretty uncaring. She's not really bothered about anybody but herself and Crypto, her dog. She basically just likes to travel to systems where there is a red sun, I believe, because then she can get drunk on those systems. If she goes to one with a yellow sun, like ours, then her powers return and she can't get drunk. She likes hanging around in systems so she can get drunk, basically. Party, wake up with hangovers, and not really have any responsibilities. And then she meets Eve Ridley's character, Ruthie. She's trying to seek revenge for the death of her parents at the hands of the Brigands and their leader, Krem. Basically, she ends up teaming up with Supergirl as Crypto gets poisoned by Krem, and she's only got 48 hours or something to get the antidote. So that kind of sets them off on an adventure where Supergirl, discovers how to be a hero, I suppose. Right, what are my thoughts on Supergirl? Well, here we are again, guys. It's another superhero film that has been preordained to fail by our friends on YouTube. This was targeted very early, as a lot of them are, basically saying it was going to be garbage, it was going to be rubbish, blah, 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 blah. And they've followed that up since its release with more videos backing up that, saying how terrible it is, really, really bad, really terrible, it's flopping at the box office, blah, 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 blah. Is that criticism fair of this film? No, I don't believe it is. Do I think this is a really good superhero film? No, I don't think it is either. I think it is severely, and I mean severely, flawed, but it is nowhere near as bad as, well, some are making out, I suppose. Now, I think I'm going to go through the issues that I have with this film first, because there are quite a few issues I have with this film. Number one, appalling villain, Krem, Brigand. It just felt like a low-level Guardians of the Galaxy villain. In fact, many aspects of this film felt like a low-level Guardians of the Galaxy film. It had that feel about it, just without the fun. Jason Momoa as Lobo is a highlight of the film, but it's like Lobo with the shackles on, really. You don't get enough of him, and what you do get, you just want more. But yeah, it just kind of felt like a very, very tamed version of Lobo. Supergirl, Millie Alcock character, and this is no fault of hers, is deeply unlikable at times. Like a spoilt brat, just partying and getting drunk and no responsibilities at all. I mean, the signs were there at the end of Superman when she turned up to pick up at Crypto and then, called Superman a bitch. So the warning signs were there, and they just kind of doubled down in this film with her personality. And I suppose by the end, the arc of the character, she has changed and she becomes more humble, I suppose. But for a big chunk of this film, she's very unlikable. And she just didn't feel like Supergirl. And I know she's based on a certain type of Supergirl that I don't read comics. I haven't read comics for a long time. But yeah, I'm not sure I like this version of Supergirl. And like I said, I don't think any of it is Millie Alcott's problem. I don't think she has that presence, if I'm being honest, for like this kind of superhero role, or maturity. But maybe that'll come, as if she's given the opportunity to develop the character. Like I said, at times it felt like a bargain bin rip-off of Guardians of the Galaxy. Krypto's not in it enough. Superman, the David Cornsweet film, I felt a little bit of too much criticism for the Krypto stuff. And I must admit, I was not looking forward to Krypto in that film. I've never really been a fan of Krypto in Superman, Superdog. It's just madness, really. So I wasn't sure how I was going to react to Krypto in the Superman film. But I really liked him, and he was adorable, I thought. He's just not in this enough, as far as I'm concerned. He's poisoned for most of the film, and that's Kara's motivation for the film. The fact that a dog gets poisoned. Now, don't get me wrong, that's distressing, I know, but it's not exactly, deep and dark, is it, in regards to motivations for a film? Now, the film I wanted to see is more of an origin story for her. We don't really get that here. We get it in flashbacks, but I would prefer to have seen that story first, to see her on the offshoot of Krypton when it was destroyed, where she's living with her family and stuff, and then her journey to Earth to be kind of mentored by Kal-El. We see brief moments of that. We don't see what led her to going off system, off planet, and going and getting drunk everywhere. Obviously, the loss of her parents and stuff would have been affecting her quite badly. But I think it would have been better for the character to start her at this really low level and kind of build her up, and then for the tragedy to happen and for her want to be off planet. We don't get that. We just meet her at the beginning of this film, and she's an annoying brat. And it's just not a good intro to the character, as far as I'm concerned. I think we would have been much better having that origin story of her journey to Earth. The first 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes on this, let's say, offshoot of Krypton, then her journey to Earth, and then the mentoring from Kal-El to be heroic, and it maybe fails quite badly at that. I don't know. Something happens, and then boom, she decides, right, I'm off. I don't like this. I think that was the film we should have got, not this. This is like trying to establish a well-established character. Well, the character, as far as I'm concerned, is not as well-established as Superman and Kal-El. And the way she was introduced, I thought, was clumsy to this universe, and quite clearly so, because the film isn't doing well at the box office. I think some of that is due to the backlash or content that some influencers are putting out there that I don't agree with. I think some of these thumbnails I'm seeing showing Millie Alcock as like this cave woman, I just think is disrespectful and awful. I do. I think some of it's really, really poor what they're doing, and I don't think it's fair on her. Okay, have a pop at the studios, have a pop at the Hollywood system, have a pop at James Gunn if you want. It's only his second film, for God's sake, in the DCU. Give him a chance. But don't take pops at Millie Alcock. You know what I mean? It's almost like they're reveling in maybe destroying another career or trying to destroy another career. Because they don't like the film, or, well, they've never even seen it and they chose to dislike it. So I will never ever do that with a film. I'll never watch a film. I'll never prejudge a film before it's come out. Ever. I won't ever do it. I might inside be not looking forward to it. I might be inside, be worried about it. But there's too many films that I've gone in there thinking it's going to be bad and then ended up really enjoying it. It's just, it happened with Blade Runner 2049, for example. I just thought, how on earth can you possibly do a sequel to perfection? And they did, and it was brilliant. So I won't ever behave like that. But saying that, I think this is a fairly weak film, but at the same time, there are moments in it. It's also quite entertaining. It's nowhere near garbage or worthless. It's just not very good. There are moments in it that I think could have been good, but beyond that, I think they missed the mark with this one. And I think, and I hope James Gunn and others look at this and think, okay, I think we've gone a bit too far here. Let's reel it back in a little bit, and let's get a little bit more, maybe a little bit more grounded, and stop some of the silliness that they've been maybe done in this. And arguably in the Superman film, I really enjoyed the Superman film, but there were moments in that where I thought it's getting a bit silly here. But yeah, Supergirl. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Have you seen it? Are you going to see it? And I will, of course, be back on the channel with plenty more content for you very, very soon.